Ron Howard, he's totally wrong for the role. Not really. Hey geeks, welcome to my channel. I'm Trey Guillotine, and today I'm talking about the possible new directors for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and share it around so others can join in the conversation. Let's geek out. Moving past the situation of James Gunn being fired from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, it's happened, it's not going to change, and Disney and Marvel are going forward with Guardians of Volume 3 using James Gunn's script, but they're bringing writers in to polish it, so whatever that's going to mean, it could mean that they just, edit it a little bit, or they could just completely change it. I don't know what's going to happen with that, but with James Gunn being removed from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, that does leave an opening for a new director, and there's been some names that have been tossed around, not by Disney, not by Marvel, but by fans. And by names, I mean there's been one specific name that's been tossed around. Many of the fans, and I would definitely consider myself of this group, I think this would be a great idea. A lot of fans are hoping that Taika Waititi comes in and takes over for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. A lot of fans already consider Taika Waititi, he came in for Thor Ragnarok, for the third Thor movie, and did what no other director of a Thor movie could, and made a solid, good, successful Thor movie. And it really was. Thor Ragnarok really was one of the best Thor, not just the best Thor movie, but one of the best movies in the MCU, and we definitely owe that to Taika Waititi. He definitely added in a lot more comedy, a lot more slapstick humor, but that wasn't just all he did. He made sure that he hit the serious moments, but he also made sure that the movie was fun, and even a lot of fans are already calling Thor Ragnarok as Guardians of the Galaxy, and they're not wrong. It was very similar to Guardians of the Galaxy, although Thor Ragnarok was more of a retro sci-fi 80s film than it was so much like the modern day kind of styled, space opera that Guardians of the Galaxy and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 was. But I think Taika Waititi would be a great choice to take over Guardians of the Galaxy, because already his style of filmmaking and the style of films that he makes already fits in well with the kind of both humor and drama that Guardians of the Galaxy has. So that's one potential director that a lot of fans, myself included, think would do a really great job in taking over the role for Guardians of the Galaxy, especially since he's already involved in the MCU. He's done Thor Ragnarok, he was involved with the direction and at least being consulted on the direction of what to be expected from Thor and everything that was going on with Thor from, not Guardians of the Galaxy, from Avengers Infinity War. So he's already right there in the mix. He could easily take up the mantle of directing Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. That's one possibility. Another possibility, although while possible, I don't think this is what's going to happen, but it is a possibility that I do want to throw out there. It's very possible Disney could bring Ron Howard in to direct Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Ron Howard, he's totally wrong for the role. Not really. Disney brought, for the Star Wars story Solo, the last Star Wars movie that came out a couple months ago, they brought in Ron Howard when Disney was unhappy with the direction that was going on with the original Solo script and the original Solo production. So once they got rid of that director, or rather that, I think it was two directors that they left over creative differences, Disney brought in Ron Howard to take over for Solo. And initially, I was kind of worried about this because as great of a director as Ron Howard is, I would never consider Ron Howard to be... I would never expect a fun action movie to come from Ron Howard. He's a very serious director. He does a lot of more like serious movies. So when it was announced that he was going to be taking over for Solo, I was a little worried. But then once Solo arrived and I saw it, all of my worries were done. It was a very fun, it was a very action-packed movie, it was a very fun movie, and Ron Howard did a great job. Now, again, Ron Howard was basically directing Solo on the bones of what was already there for the movie. He really just came in the last half of the production and fixed some of it for Disney to be happy with the movie, and I think he did a great job. While Solo may not have been a huge financial success, I think public opinion-wise, it was a success. Most of the reactions from audiences were that they really enjoyed it. It was a fun movie. It was a fun Star Wars adventure, and I think Ron Howard did a really good job. And I think now that we've seen that he can direct that kind of fun, action-packed space opera movie, I think Ron Howard wouldn't be the worst choice to come in after the script's already been written, come in and direct Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Again, especially since he's already working with Disney on Solo, so he's already in their Rolodex of directors that they can call up and say hey Ron, you want to come direct another movie for Marvel? And both production crews and directors and producers and actors, at this point, they are clamoring to get in on the superhero comic book movie gravy train, so I don't think bringing Ron Howard in to direct Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is completely out of the realm of possibility. I don't think that's what's going to happen, but it is a possibility that I think is out there that we should definitely consider, and I think Ron Howard, if he is brought in, which again, there's nothing saying that, this is my own speculation of what could happen, I think Ron Howard could do a great job. But putting out there Ron Howard and Taika Waititi's possible direction of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, there is a third director that personally I think would be the best choice to take over Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Now, bear with me, because I know a lot of people are going to disagree with this. Joss Whedon. Joss Whedon was already a part of the directors for the MCU. He directed Avengers, and he directed Avengers Age of Ultron, which personally, I liked Avengers and Age of Ultron more than I liked Avengers Infinity War. Both Avengers and Age of Ultron, they were a lot of fun, but they also had their serious moments. It was very Whedon-esque. And yes, I fully admit that I am a Joss Whedon fanboy. There's been one thing I've seen from Joss Whedon, and I don't think I've seen his entire catalog of movies and TV shows and plays and comics, but everything that I have seen, there's only one instance where I didn't really like it, and that was Dollhouse. There was nothing wrong with the show. I just felt like Dollhouse it came after, Buffy had ended, and after Angel had ended, and after Firefly was canceled all too soon. Dollhouse came in, I believe it was for Fox, and I feel like Joss Whedon was basically trying to create Dollhouse to meet the, expectations that Fox has for their TV shows, since Fox screws over Joss Whedon any chance they get, and he was basically trying to, make them happy with Dollhouse, and it may have placated to Fox, but it didn't really placate to his audience, or at least it wasn't really appealing for me as much as I like Joss Whedon and Eliza Dushku. Anytime it was on, I tried watching it, but it really was the only reason I was still paying attention to it and watching it was because it was Joss Whedon. So that's the one thing that I've seen of Joss Whedon's that I didn't like. Everything else I've seen of him, I've loved. Now, an easy comparison to make for this argument for Joss Whedon to take over the director spot for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is easy enough to see: Firefly. Now, Firefly is considered one of the best sci-fi TV shows that's ever been out there. But if you look at what the show is, it's a show about a group of lovable misfits with hearts of gold on one ship, interacting with each other, dealing with the conflicts of each other, and also in space. And not that the crew of the Serenity were the Guardians of the Galaxy, or that they were protecting the galaxy. It was a lot more personal stories for them, that they weren't really trying to save the galaxy from this big threat. I mean, the big threat was pretty much the Alliance, which ran the galaxy. It was a lot more Han Solo-esque than it was Guardians of the Galaxy, but it does show that Joss Whedon has the experience of working with this kind of sci-fi dramedy that could really work well for Guardians of the Galaxy. And he definitely also has the humor that we've seen in Avengers and Avengers Age of Ultron that could easily translate into Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. The other evidence that I think we should look at of why Joss Whedon would be a good choice for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is his other successful TV shows like Buffy and Angel. Now, of course, Buffy and Angel aren't sci-fi dramas. They're more fantasy, modern-day action shows, but both of those shows, pretty much all of Joss Whedon's works, are about an ensemble of characters working together, having conflicts with each other, dealing with each other, interacting with each other, both comedic and dramatic-wise. And that's the exact kind of ensemble story that we would see in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. So I know a lot of, I don't really get it why a lot of people give Joss Whedon a lot of flack for his works. Again, everything I've seen, aside from Dollhouse, from Joss Whedon has been fantastic. Even way back in the day with Titan AE, it was a good animated movie. And even his adaptation of Much Ado About Nothing, where he pretty much got all of his friends to come to his house for a couple weeks and film Much Ado About Nothing, or an adaptation of Shakespeare's Much Ado About Nothing, in his house over like 2 weeks. And it was by far my favorite Shakespeare adaptation that I've ever seen. So yes, I fully admit that I'm a Joss Whedon fanboy, but I do really think that he would be the perfect fit for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. He's done dramedy, he's done dramedy, dramatic and comedic space adventures with Firefly. He's very well versed in dealing with an ensemble cast of characters from Buffy and Angel, and even with Avengers and Age of Ultron. The point of those movies were that it was an ensemble cast not only dealing with the big bad, but also dealing with each other. He's excelled at that. So that's just my own, not even speculation, my own ideas of who could take over the role of director for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I think Taika Waititi would be a great choice. I think Ron Howard, if picked, which there's nothing saying that we'll pick Ron Howard to do it, but Ron Howard would be a good choice. But I genuinely feel the best choice of director for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is Joss Whedon. But let me know what you think. Who do you think should direct Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3? Let me know in the comments and follow me on all the internets. If you want your answer featured in an upcoming video of What You Gaming On, make sure to leave a comment in the bottom of this video on any of my social media, or email it to me, the game that you're playing, what you like about it, what you don't, and your answer will be featured in an upcoming episode of What You Gaming On. If you want to read any of my video game or Marvel TV show or movie reviews, go to www.treyguillotine.com and subscribe to my channel to geek out some more. Thanks for watching and have fun. So Captain America, Thor, Hulk.